Stop calling yourself lazy when you're quite literally surviving in a system that was not built for you, was not made for you, and not meant for you to flourish in. The truth is that feeling emotionally hostage, feeling drained and toxic just because. Not verbatim, but I gotta quote a little bit of Lauryn Hill on that one. Understanding that the system that we live in and how we interact with each other, how we do things on a day-to-day basis is like low key slash high key draining your soul energy. It's like almost draining your soul in a sense. And what happens is a lot of the times that I hear people talking about how much they hate their job or hate working in corporate or hate working this and that, or this is about the business, whatever it is. Productivity culture has us all convinced somehow that you're supposed to go, running for your train, especially if you live in like a big major city. You're supposed to go run for your train in the morning, get work, chat it up in an office building. And it's like, yes, these things are great. It's great to make a living for yourself. But in that same breath, are you being held emotionally hostage? Are you not being able to just express yourself in your position, even if you are in a creative space? And the truth is, so many people are convinced that they're broken. But what if I told you that it's actually your superpower to be not aligned with that type of lifestyle anymore? So sit with me, y'all. Sit with me. I know that was a lot, but stay with me now, okay? We're going to get into talking about how you can flip the script on everything. And about productivity, about hustle culture, and make things work for you. And so let me guess, you guys are, if you're anything like me, you're that person, they wake up in the morning, they get ready for work, they do all of the things they're supposed to do in the morning, get the breakfast, get everything started. But as soon as it's time to work and you get into that afternoon slump, it's not across the board, and on a daily basis, it fluctuates. So if you're anything like me, you got your calendar, you got your color-coded, templates, you got your Google Docs, you got your email set up, you got everything going, and you got it laid out so that you can be that person today and really get ahead on that work. But you find yourself at 2 p.m. to be scrolling and to be in a state of unproductivity. You feel like you're crashing, you're in a slump. And so then the end of the day goes by, you get as much work, very bare minimum, and then you say more, especially if you're a woman, you're supposed to work on a certain cycle. You're supposed to work with your own cycle. But anyways, I'm gonna probably make another video about working and cycle syncing in the future. Fluctuates. And the truth is that leads to so much burnout, and that honestly, the system isn't designed for people who, the 9 to 5, the linear, the be a good worker type of thing. If you're not that person who is able to fit within that schedule, your life probably looks similar to that productivity schedule. And the truth is that specific system of getting work done from 8 o'clock in the morning, as soon as you wake up, to 5 p.m. and then having, a few hours before you do it all over again, is made for a specific type of person who, I don't know, but it's also made for a person who is considered neurotypical. Neurotypical meaning someone who has no issues with executive function. And truth be told, the problem is not your worth ethic. It's not your morals. It's not who you are. Maybe it could be integrity if that's the thing that issue that you have. The truth is, a lot of the times it is not any of those things. It's actually energetic misalignment. And so when you decide that you're going to take a job, the first thing that you should think about is, company culture, of course, as well as dealing with what it is that I'm doing and how can I provide value to this company. So providing value is some of the most important things of, finding a job, landing a job, and then keeping a job. But for some reason in 2025, that doesn't also guarantee you a job. And the truth is, to go back to it, everything has a cycle in nature. The trees, the earth that we stand on, and the clouds, the seasons, of course, that's the one that you think about, especially if you live in a temperate climate. you are going through these seasons and these changes, and it's great to have jobs that go along with that. But in that sense, it's like, yes, each day is going to look differently. It's not going to look like a 9 to 5 type of day each and every single day in every season, especially on a nice summer day, because who wants to be in the office? And the truth is, trees don't produce fruit each year around, flowers don't bloom every single day, and, berries come out in springtime, and bears graze and eat things during a certain time of year. I don't know when. I try to avoid them. But somehow we are like convinced ourselves that we need to have this productive, overly complex schedule each and every single day that we decide to do work. And that's where a lot of people get burnt out. That's where a lot of things and energy gets misaligned. And it gets very frustrating to be on whether you're the manager of a person like that or you're that person yourself. And the truth is, that's not lazy resistance. That's literally, quite literally, your nervous system trying to protect you, trying to keep you safe. And the parasympathetic nervous system, if I'm not mistaken, is responsible for that of, when you're constantly being overworked, when you're underworked or underpaid, whatever it is, the stresses of working and having that schedule, it honestly feels like you're swimming against the tide. It feels like you're trying to get upstream like a salmon, and everything just feels like it's not lining and syncing up. So when you feel that energetic misalignment, you're definitely going to feel like a salmon trying to swim up the stream and you're not making any movement. You'll feel a lot of like stagnant. You feel like you should be resting. Some people feel like they need to be extremely tired all of the time. You also are forcing masculine energy, or you're not embracing your feminine energy. And when you do that and you shovel all of these things down, that what leads to the energetic misalignment. And then some people also ignore their own like social meter of like having capacity to deal with so many people on a day-to-day basis, especially if your role or your business or your career is people focused. That is one of the things that gets so many people energetically misaligned and tired. Truth is, whether we want to accept it or not, the body, your environment, the planet that we live on, your energy fields itself, especially if you are a person who, you can think for yourself, you can think and be here and now. Hold on. So whether it's your energetic field, all of these things are literally combined and they have an effect on us, whether we want to acknowledge them or not, they're there. And the truth is, I believe that our environments are supposed to set us up for success. Even if you live in like a really crappy area, or if you live in, less than ideal circumstances, your environment still is trying to just keep you, alive, hopefully, and really pushing you forward. And so what happens when you go against that? What happens when things don't feel aligned? You feel like you're being pulled which and every other way. But like, what if instead of trying to fight this urge or fighting those natural rhythms or cycles, especially women with our menstrual cycle, what if instead of trying to fight them, to stop putting yourself in this tiny box of it's either this rigidness or nothing? What if you actually learn to work with it and to stop calling yourself lazy or behind or being ashamed and letting go of those things? And the truth is, your creative bursts, your energy levels, all of these things should be scheduled. That's what should be on the schedule. And honoring those cycles are one of the things that we as humans have unfortunately been disconnected from. And one of the ways that you can do that, I also like for women, this is a one thing I'm going to put you guys onto, is cycle syncing. Cycle syncing is so important for women, especially if you're dealing with things like PMS, PMDD, PCOS, or whatever it is that you got going on. Or if you just have a normal flow of their menstrual cycle, great. That is like one of your biggest things. Thank God for the moon, okay? Having your energy levels syncing to you, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do. So let's say that you want to go to Six Flags or you want to go to Disneyland on a vacation, planning that out during your ovulation planning out when you have super high energy levels, as opposed to when you're in your menstrual cycle, your menstruing, and then you can't walk around as much. Planning to go out on dates when you feel your optimal time, as opposed to waiting till you go and feel like that. And then also like scheduling rest when you need it, and having yourself in a state of rest and relaxation when your body is naturally asking for it. Thinking of certain things like winter, there are ebbs and flows to it. And so I urge all of you for the next 2 weeks, really think about, what are my energy levels like on a daily basis, tracking those things. What time of day do you need to rest? What time of day can you create the most? When do you naturally want to feel that rest and relaxation? What days can you offer that to yourself? And what weeks do you think that your body's naturally going to feel expansive? You're going to want to take on all of the things that you've been wanting to do. And instead of working against that, instead of trying to put yourself into a box, working to honor those things that are naturally in place. And so maybe you're like me, you're a night owl and you need to work, at 11 o'clock at night until 2 in the morning. Or if you're an early morning bird and you love to work at 5 o'clock and 4:30, get all your work done at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then have the entire day to yourself, that is also okay. Aligning yourself with the seasons, and especially with like the summer season now, you can wake up and there actually be light on your face, and it looks like 9:30 in the morning at like 6 o'clock a.m. That's like literally perfect for people who are into that, and then also wanting to do highly visible activities like going running, filming content, sports, anything that you can do probably in this summer season action phase. And so I urge you all to, instead of like talking about time management, let's talk about energy management. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what people say. You can listen to all of the gurus, you can listen to all of the people who are going to give you all of the self-help doctrine on YouTube, and tell you what exactly you need to do, and then give you their give you their coursework. But the truth is, you need a guide to understanding your energy management and understanding energy levels, and the fact that we all have energy. Food is fuel. Your body is this thing that we all have, and we only get one of them. And honoring those energy days, those high energy days, the low energy days, and all that in between days. And so I urge you guys to all stop trying to do everything all at once, and to creating sustainable success practices. Sustainable success practices meaning like you can understand and honor those cycles that you have naturally occurring within you, and getting yourself there. Okay. And this is why I also really recommend like herbal products too. And I'm not just talking about cannabis. I'm talking mainly about herbs like ashwagandha. If you guys don't know, I'm also an herbalist. So honoring those seasons, sometimes you're not wanting to be tired. Sometimes you're right awake, and sometimes you're tired and you need to be awake. Taking herbs like ashwagandha is super amazing for that. Making sure that you get your vitamins and supplements, nutrition. If you need to see a nutritionist, I highly recommend that you guys see one, because of the fact that the food that we eat, everything that we consume and we put in and it's correlated to our energy levels, you guys. So making sure that you're also filling your own cup. And if you guys also want to learn more about actually filling your own cup, I actually have my own herbal tea line. Make sure you guys are tapping in. It's either highnoonhouse.com or shop highnoonhouse.com. I'm going to link down my herbal blends as well as my gummies in the link in the description below. You guys definitely take into account your body's going to need those natural seasons of detoxing, of balancing out things like women, especially us, like our hormones are going to need. You're going to need, sleep. Everybody needs good sleep. And, even things to help you with your brain health. That's really what I focus on with like CBD, CBG. So make sure you guys are tapping in. The truth is when you work with those seasons, you get that rest naturally. And integrating those things and tracking those things are going to help you so much, especially if you want to create any type of goal for yourself or to achieve those goals. Okay. And so I urge you all I urge you all to also track your energy levels for the next 2 weeks, like I mentioned, and getting yourself into a habit of tracking how you're feeling throughout the day as well. Understanding when you feel, creative versus drained, and understanding when the time is for you to create. And so, men definitely, if you're watching this, take it on a cycle where it's like, I have more energy throughout the day, maybe in the daytime, maybe in the nighttime. Women really tap into your lunar cycle of, I'm ovulating this day, I'm menstruating this day. What am I doing in between these days, and what should I be doing in order to get myself to level up in the position that I want to be in creatively, business wise, and any other areas of your life productively. And so I urge you all to really complete and to redesign, whatever it is that you want to design for yourself in your life. It's super possible and super capable of designing your life the way that you desire it to be. But what we're not going to do anymore is hopefully work on this rigid cycle of having to do and to fit into boxes that are not fit for the average person. And so if you guys want to take a deep dive into, this work, I've created an ebook, and I'm coming up with more ebooks in the future talking about things like energy work. And I'm also opening up one-on-one coaching in the future. Definitely stay tuned for the links that I'm going to be adding to the bio, you guys. Definitely not going to want to miss out on that. And if you like to have more of like a fuller cup, definitely check out my links to, once again, my herbal tea line and wellness line. And I really urge you all to stop fighting nature, stop fighting the flow of life itself. I know that's hard, and I need to take my own advice too. I understand, but understanding that the flow of life is natural and that we should just move with it. There's no way that you can really fit into a box sustainably. Make sure you guys are commenting how this resonated with you. Make sure you guys comment below how this aligned with you energetically, and what you can take in your own personal life to, have that renewed sense of being. And please, please, please also share this video with anyone who you think that would like it. And also share it on your socials. Send it to everybody, actually. And yeah, you're not lazy. You're just needing to be recombobulated. And make sure you guys are also subscribing to the channel and liking the video, because it takes me a while to make these amazing videos for you guys, and I'm so grateful to be in the position to actually be able to sit down and talk to a camera and have you all watch this amazing video. Make sure you guys check out all my links also, and keep honoring your energy. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.